It should be on your screen.
Yes, sir.
And in the screen on top of you, the jurors may notice already, but it's in green. Is that the way your screen is too?
Here?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's not that way. I thought you meant the green on the snake. My apologies.
No, that's fine. Okay. And the album cover, though, if you remember, is not green, right? It's just
No.
a display on top of your behind you.
Yeah, just background colors, white.
All right. Now, I want to talk with you about this, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
This is approximately, do you remember the year by any chance?
I don't recall the exact year, top of my head.
That's fine. 2017 sound approximately right?
You say so, I believe you.
Okay. And when is the first time that you noticed this image or album cover? And I'm referring all the time to Jeffrey Williams, Exhibit 78.
When the album was released, again, I'm not sure of the exact year of it, but I believe it was 17, like you stated.
Okay. And you knew that this album was released by Mr. Williams, fair to say?
Sure, yes.
A performer known as Young Thug.
Yes, sir.
And Future. Do you know who Future is by any chance?
Well, he's another Atlanta rapper, correct?
Yeah.
Or entertainer.
Yeah. And they're both collaborating on this album, fair to say?
That's fair.
And were you aware at the time or now that YSL logo, mascot, whatever the right word is a snake?
At the time, yes.
Okay. And were you aware either then or now, just correct us, that Future's logo was an eagle?
It was an eagle, but not this depiction of an eagle, but yes.
Okay. I'd like to ask you a couple of things about that. What you're saying, if that's okay. Now, from your vantage point, I think you told the jury, if you didn't, just say, that's wrong, and correct me.
Yes, sir.
But this somehow was inspiring or an exciting part of the gang war that he told us about. Fair to say that this picture, that's how you took it. It was insulting to IF.
Objection, not a compound question.
I stand as to form. You can rephrase, sir.
The reason that this caught your eye is you believe, I think you told the jury, and if you didn't, just say misunderstood and incorrect.
Okay.
That this album cover was somehow throwing gasoline on a gang war. Is that something
Yes,
like that?
yes.
And that's because it's your understanding that the snake really is kind of inside, the way I look at it, the skull of the rival gang. That's how you looked at it. Fair to say?
That was the depiction that the gang unit had based on our previous dealings with both individual gangs.
Now,
and I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I cut you off. I thought you were done.
And their emblems that they use to represent themselves.
Now, I want to ask you some of the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell me, best your memory, who you spoke with and what you did about it, okay? The performer known as Future that I've been asking you about. Were you aware that he was signed at the time of this record album cover by Sony Records?
No, I was not.
Were you aware that Sony Records also has a subsidiary, meaning a subpart, Epic Records?
I object to facts not in evidence, assuming facts not in evidence. Were you aware?
I'll sustain the objection.
Did you know that Epic Records was a subpart of Sony Records?
Objection still, Your Honor, for assuming facts not in
I
evidence.
sustain the objection.
Just asking the question.
I sustain the objection.
Did you ever look at the back of the album cover to see who produced that album with that artwork on it?
No, I wasn't. If this was, I trust what you say. It was released in 2017, is what you said. Is that what you said? 2017.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the gang unit at 2017.
But at any time, did you, since you took note of it, did you talk to your coworkers and anybody just look at the back of the record album?
Yeah, we spoke about the record, but that wasn't part of the conversation to look at who produced it.
Did you ever attempt, and when I say you, I'm including your teammates,
Right.
okay?
I understand.
Ever speak with anybody to find out whose idea was that artwork?
Objection calls for speculation.
I sustain
I'm
the
not
objection.
asking
I
any
sustain the
speculation.
objection, Mr. Stewart.
Okay, don't speculate.
Calls for speculation.
did you ever bother, and I don't mean that in insulting, just did you ever take the time to find out who did that artwork?
What's the relevance of who drew it?
Just asking, did you do that?
Objection, relevance.
It's the image that we've been talking about.
I'll rule the objection. You can answer it as you can, Matt.
Yes, it wasn't relevant enough that who drew it for me to ask or inquire.
I'm sorry, I keep
I'm sorry.
interrupting you. Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
I think I cut you off. You said it wasn't relevant who drew. Is that what you said?
For me, it was not relevant, the artist.
And how much input did Jeffrey Williams or anyone with YSL have in creating that artwork?
Objection, foundation, basis,
I
speculation.
stand the
Is it
objection.
important to know how much input Jeffrey Williams himself would have into that artwork?
Objection, vague.
I stand the objection.
How is it important to you as an investigator, and you've been qualified as an expert, and I'm talking about YSL, is it important to you to know whether Jeffrey Williams had any involvement in the creation of that artwork?
For me, the creation of the album, no, but the message that can be interpreted by artwork is based on the individual viewer. And coming from the gang unit, you talk about free bands. I've never seen Future or free bands represent themselves with just the skull here. I've seen images of If Gang represent themselves with If Gang, ABG, with just the head of the bird, not the full wings like free bands. So my interpretation of it was disrespect.
Since you interpret it like that, would it be important to know whether Jeffrey Williams had any involvement with that artwork?
If he put his name on it, there's some level of involvement
The artwork, the cover?
with what's being put out and representing his name. That's what I would conclude.
How about YSL? Any members of the record label or whoever you want to call it YSL? How much input did anyone with YSL have into creating that artwork?
Objection calls for speculation.
I stand the objection.
Do you know whether anyone with YSL had any input at all?
Again, I conclude that if someone put their name on something to be presented to the world and represent themselves, you would have some level of input on what's being put out to the world.
Okay. Did you do anything to corroborate your belief?
Objection, relevance.
I'll rule the objection.
As in,
Anything?
no, it's not against the law to make a artwork. You know, it's not illegal. I was investigating crimes, not just specifically artwork.
Are you familiar with YSL putting out an album cover with an eagle holding a snake in its hand? Are you familiar with that?
Not off the top of my head. I mean, if you can show me something, I can tell you if I've seen it or not.
Let me show you what has been already marked as Jeffrey Williams number 221F. May I approach?
You may, sir. Just show it to the state.
Thank you. I've already sent it to him previously, and I gave him a copy. Take a peek at that, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Tell me if you recognize that.
I think I may have seen this. Yes.
And does it look like what you have seen before? Meaning, is it accurate in what you remember previously?
It looks accurate. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I move for the admission of Mr. Williams' number. That would be 221F.
Your Honor, I would object unless additional foundation is laid. There's been no
Can I
foundation.
see it, please? I stand the objection at this point.
How have you seen Mr. Williams' 221F?
Say it one more time.
Have you seen Mr. Williams' 221F?
I may have seen it online.
Okay. And what did you recognize it to be?
An album cover.
And I've already asked you this, I want to ask you again. Does it look similar to what you've seen online or identical to what you remember seeing online?
In reference to the same picture? Yeah, it looks pretty similar.
Your Honor, I believe a foundation has been laid.
State, you have any further objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right. What's the number of these exhibits, sir?
221F.
So 221 alpha, is that what you said?
F.
Oh, 221 Foxtrot, okay.
Can we show it with Mr. Kokomo, Your Honor?
Just hold on one second, let me admit it first. Okay, JW 221F is admitted and may be published as you see fit.
Okay. Do you know what year this came out?
I do not.
That's fine. And here, there is an eagle. You recognize at least a depiction of an eagle?
Yeah, it's like a large bird.
And then a snake being held?
Yes.
And you know the artist, his name is Sergio Kitchens, he performs under the name Gunna?
I don't know him personally, but I've heard of his name.
Okay, part of YSL?
Sir?
Part of YSL?
Yes.
And then Roddy Ricch, R-O-D-D-Y-R-I-C-C-H?
Mhm.
That's a performer, right?
Yeah, I've heard of him. Yes, sir.
And they did this album that the judge admitted 221F. It's not the album, it's the cover, the artwork of the album, right?
Correct.
And in this one, you notice that there's a snake. That's a symbol of YSL, right?
Yes.
And then the eagle carrying the snake. Fair to say? The eagle's holding the snake.
Yes.
And did you know that Roddy Ricch's album or motto or logo or symbol is the eagle? Did you know that?
Objection, assuming facts not in
I'm
evidence.
asking you whether the witness.
I stand the objection.
Did you know whether Roddy Ricch's symbol was an eagle?
Objection, assuming facts not in
I
evidence.
stand the objection.
Based upon your knowledge, do you know whether Roddy Ricch's symbol is an eagle?
I do not.
Did you ever look into this?
An album
Yeah,
cover?
the-
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. As part of this case, you ever look into this album cover? You ever find this fascinating or interesting?
It's not fascinating to me, no. I didn't look into it.
Now, you're aware of Mr. Williams is not the only artist who, if you are familiar, who uses a animal or a symbol as a motto or logo. Is that true?
Objection, compound and vague.
I stand the question.
Are you familiar that, you know, the artist Lil Wayne,
Yes.
Wayne Carter?
Yes.
You familiar that he uses a goat
A goat to do what?
as his symbol? Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Are you familiar with the album where Jeffrey Williams and Lil Wayne have a goat and a snake on the cover?
A goat and a snake?
Artwork.
Not off the top of my head, no, sir.
Are you familiar with the performer known as Lil Baby?
Yes.
Are you familiar that Lil Baby uses a sculpture of a little child?
Objection, assuming facts not in evidence.
I stand the question.
Based upon your personal knowledge, do you know whether Lil Baby has a sculpture of a child as his motto or logo?
No.
You don't know that? Okay. You don't know
I
that?
answered no.
Are you familiar with an album cover where Jeffrey Williams and Lil Baby collaborated and there's a snake and the sculpture of a little baby on the album cover? Are you familiar with
Objection,
that?
compound.
I stand as to form.
Are you familiar with an album cover between Lil Baby and Jeffrey Williams or YSL member Gunna where there is a snake and a statue of a little baby?
No.
Are you familiar with Jeffrey Williams and Future doing another album cover where there are two eagles and a snake? Are you familiar with that?
As far as album covers, no, I'm not familiar with the artwork.
Let me just show you this, this refreshes your memory. And if it doesn't, just say it doesn't.
Okay.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may, sir.
Showing you Mr. Williams 2212.
I'm not familiar with this.
Okay. All right. Now, are you familiar with the performer known as Drake?
Drake?
Yeah.
Yes.
And do you know whether he has an owl as his symbol or logo?
Yes.
So, it seems to me that you didn't speak with anyone in YSL about the artwork on State's Exhibit number 70A, right?
Objection as to testifying.
I stand objection.
You didn't speak, did you speak with anyone with YSL, any of the artwork people there, any of the managers, anybody? Jeffrey Williams 70A, it should be in front.
Objection as to
Stand the question.
You didn't speak with anyone with Futures people, Sony Records or Epic, about 78 to see how that artwork was developed or created, right?
Again, the artwork is not illegal to do. And as well as I wasn't in the gang unit in 2017 and thereafter when this stuff allegedly came out.
Let me ask you this. Is it possible, from your expertise, that 70A, Jeffrey Williams 70A, has nothing to do with
This
any
is
type of
78?
gang
I'm sorry.
activity? No, it's the one with the skull of the eagle and the snake going through it.
Okay.
Your Honor, I object to that question based on speculation. That is not the truth.
I sustain the objection.
The Detective Gaithers said,
I sustain the objection. So you can rephrase it more.
would you consider that you could be wrong, that that artwork, which is on the screen now, 78, has anything to do with any type of influencing a gang war? Could you be wrong?
Could I be? I think anybody on this earth can be wrong about something, but if you're saying artwork is left up to the interpreter. And as far as the gang unit and the back and forth shootings that we were working, it appeared relevant at that time.
I want to talk with you about the back and forth shootings.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, the back and forth shootings, I think you said during your direct testimony, started about around October 2014 and continued until you left the City of Atlanta Police Department. Is that fair to say?
I went back to about October to start looking. That was my starting point.
You agreed, or did I miss? You said October 2014 about, right?
I don't know if I said it started in October. I said that was my starting point
Okay.
to look back at.
So at least by October 2014.
At the very least. I didn't say it started in October.
Okay. Now, in October 2014, using that as a starting point, understanding it might be before.
Correct.
Just using October 2014. We then go through October, November, December, January, and got to the January 10th. It's the killing of Donovan Thomas. Fair to say?
That's true.
And January 2015.
Yes, sir.
We got about 3+ months from October 2014 to about January 10th.
Yes, sir.
And then it continues thereafter, right?
It does.
All right. Now, I want to go back to this fight or war starting around, it could be before, October 2014. We have the IF gang, we have allegedly the YSL gang, right?
Yes. Okay. IF gang and YSL.
Yeah, and maybe other people, but that's basically what we're talking about.
Sure.
Okay. Now, did you know in 2014 whether Jeffrey Williams was making a movie with Donovan Thomas in October 2014? Were you aware?
No.
Were you aware that Jeffrey Williams was making a movie with Donovan Thomas in November 2004?
No.
Were you aware that Jeffrey Williams was making a movie with Donovan Thomas in December 2004?
Assuming facts not in evidence, objection.
I sustain the objection.
Were you aware whether Jeffrey Williams permitted, and that, you know, whatever, allowed, I don't know, was with, let's just do, let me erase the question. Were you aware that Jeffrey Williams was with Donovan Thomas in October 2014 during his musical concerts?
Objection, vague.
I'll rule the objection.
No.
That's right.
Were you aware that Jeffrey Williams was with Donovan Thomas in November 2014 at Jeffrey Williams concerts?
Your Honor, object, facts not in evidence, assuming facts not in evidence.
I sustain the objection.
Did you know whether Jeffrey Williams was with Donovan Thomas in November 2015 while Jeffrey Williams performed live shows?
No.
December 2014, were you aware whether Jeffrey Williams was with Donovan Thomas in December 2014 when Jeffrey Williams was performing shows?
No.
Were you aware that Jeffrey Williams was with Donovan Thomas on New Year's Eve of
Objection.
December 31, 2014 going to January 1, 2015?
Basis.
Assuming facts not in
I
evidence.
sustain the objection.
Did you know whether Jeffrey Williams was with Donovan Thomas or Donovan Thomas was with Jeffrey Williams on New Year's Eve on December 31, 2014?
No, I was not.
Going into, obviously, January 1.
New Year's Eve to the New Year's Day, no.
Okay. Did you ever look at Donovan Thomas's postings on the social media promoting Jeffrey Williams' music?
Objection, assuming facts not in evidence.
I'll sustain the objection.
Based upon your work, did you ever look at Donovan Thomas's social media in October 2014, November 2014, December 2014, January 2014, promoting Jeffrey Williams' music?
Objection, compound.
I sustain as to form. You can rephrase, sir.
All right, we're going to break it down into month by month. Did you ever look, and then tell the juries if you did and what you found, October 2014,
No.
Donovan Thomas's social media promoting Jeffrey Williams' music?
No.
The same question, November 2014.
No, sir.
Same question, December 2014.
No, sir.
Same question, beginning, obviously, God forbid there was a killing, but beginning of 2015, January.
I believe I saw, well, after his murder is when I first saw Mr. Thomas's social media page. I hadn't seen it before.
And I was inarticulate in my question. I don't care if you look backwards. I'm saying, do you remember October 2014?
Specific dates, no. I know that I first saw his page was after his murder.
You have a great memory right now of where you can pull out and tell us. In other words, I'll show it to you. Donovan Thomas promoting Jeffrey Williams' music. October, November.
I don't,
Vague.
I sustain the objection.
I don't think it was vague at all. I understand
I'm-
you said so.
I'm-
Okay, I'm moving on.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to ask you again.
Mhm.
At any time that you reviewed Donovan Thomas's social media, okay,
okay.
did you find in October 2014, do you remember him promoting Jeffrey Williams' music?
I can't recall the exact date. I do believe he may have posted a picture or something of Mr. Williams, but to give you an exact date of what the context of the photograph was, I couldn't tell you.
Let me show you a couple of things.
Sure.
Your Honor, may I step back for a minute?
Yes, sir, you may.
They're going to look for it. I'm going to continue. Just need
Yes, sir.
time. Okay. want to talk with you about what I call, I think referred to, a repost, the Wiz app. Do you know what I'm talking about? You played it at the very end of court last Wednesday.
What was the last word you said before app?
You played it last Wednesday right before we broke.
The video?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The video audio?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Number 112, Bravo, Bravo.
Your Honor, can we put up, Kokomo, if you're able to do it, otherwise I'll ask someone else. The state's number 112 BB.
All right, sir.
And for the purposes of the record, this open to the fact that we had 112, so I would make the video 112, Bravo, Bravo, Alpha.
Whatever's in evidence.
All right. And 112 Bravo Bravo Alpha, you play, okay?
Can you show it to me? Got it? Detective, while it's coming up, you're currently employed with the, is it DeKalb County District Attorney's Office?
No.
That's wrong, right?
Yes, sir.
Were you ever employed with the DeKalb County District Attorney's Office?
Was?
When did that end, I guess?
Almost as soon as it started. It wasn't for me.
When did it start?
I believe it was August 2020, and I quit that in maybe late October.
Are you in law enforcement in any capacity now?
No.
All right, I think it's up. There's a line across, I don't know why, but was that line there? You see over what I'll call Mr. Williams' left eye. Was that line there when you originally saw this?
No, it looked like this.
Okay, the line is gone.
Yeah.
Okay. When did you first see this?
Roughly around the same time it was posted. It was very early on in our investigations.
Okay, and it's posted, I believe it says on State's Exhibit number 112, or that's wrong. Yeah, 112 BB-A, I think it is now. You see January 26, 2015?
Yes, sir.
All right. And that would be approximately 16 days after the killing of Mr. Thomas. Fair to say?
Yes, sir.
And you see where it says repost? Was that?
Yes, sir.
What did you do when it's your teammates too, to investigate what is WizApp? Learn about what is WizApp.
Why would I need to know what WizApp is?
I'm asking.
Maybe I'm not understanding your question.
Well, maybe it's a bad question. What is repost WizApp?
I don't want to speculate the in and out details of it. I've seen it before, but I don't want to give you false information about what it is.
I'm not trying to get you to say false information.
I know, I'm just letting you know.
What did you do, though, or your teammates, to get correct information? What is WhatsApp? Or, excuse me, repost WhatsApp, if you know.
I'm not understanding what are you asking?
Okay. Did you or any of your teammates do anything to look into how somebody uses repost WhatsApp, that application?
No.
And then this is posted by not Mr. Williams, correct?
This particular post on the screen with the comments, this is Mr. Garlington's page, Demekion Garlington's page.
And we know that because I believe kind of towards the top center right, S, and then instead of like a C, what I would say C is XAR underscore, then same thing, X replaced the C, so Scarface, but with 2 X's. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And you know that through your investigation to be Demekion Garlington's Instagram account, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you know that there are voices in the background, correct?
Besides Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I have Mr. Williams up front, and then in the background I have other voices.
Yes, sir.
And can you tell the ladies and gentlemen jury when this audio was made by Mr. Williams?
Then we approach.
Yes.
I don't know.
States Exhibit number 112BBA. Do you know where that recording is made?
No.
Do you know how many people were present when that recording is made?
Just listening to it, it sounds at least like 3 people. 3 at the least.
3 at the least, I think you said?
Yes.
Do you know whether other people are there who are not heard on the audio?
You said where they are?
No, I'm asking you, do you know whether other people are in the room who are not heard on the audio?
Maybe I'm not. Are you saying do I know where they are or whether they are?
Let me ask you a different way. Could other people be there in the room where this is made, wherever this is made, who are not audible on the 17-second or 15-second?
No, I object, that would be speculation.
Now, on January 26, 2015, is it fair to say that that's the date that YFM Lucy's mother, Mr. Rashawn Bennett's mother's house was shot into? What I call a drive-by shooting, but whatever, was shot into from outside.
I don't know an exact date. I know her house was shot at least 3 times, and she was shot once. 3 separate incidents, excuse me.
Do you have any evidence that Jeffrey Williams encouraged or consulted with Mr. Garlington to do this repost on January 26, 2015?
If he consulted with him?
Yeah, or encouraged him to do it.
No, sir.
Now, what we hear here, it starts in the middle of talking. Is that your understanding?
I don't know where it starts.
All right, well, let's listen to the, if we can just, we're gonna go a couple of times in this, if that's okay. I know it's
Sure.
But listen to the very beginning and tell me whether you hear somebody else speaking, not Jeffrey Williams, okay?
Okay.
Could you, and then we're gonna stop in a couple of seconds.
So nigga, a lot of they mama, a lot of they kids, a lot of they brothers and sisters.
You hear the beginning?
Yes.
Could you make out those words?
And I object that they have to clarify what it's for.
Yeah, which words are you talking about?
The first speaker is not Mr. Williams. Did you hear that?
Yes.
And could you make out do you know who that speaker is? The very first speaker.
I don't want to speculate. I got a good idea.
You don't, I'm not trying to get you to violate your oath. Do you know who it is? Let's start there.
If I wasn't there, I'm certain I'm not going to say his name.
That's fine. All right. Do you hear those words from another person before Mr. Williams starts speaking?
Yes.
And on that, do you hear that speaker saying and swear to God the truth, I'm going to lie on God? Do you hear that?
You can play it again. I can barely understand what he's saying.
We're going to play it a couple times if you need to, but I appreciate your time. You just go to the beginning and back and stuff. You can slow it down if you want, but that's up to Detective Kate.
So nigga, a lot of they mama, a lot of they kids, a lot of they brothers and sisters, they didn't get ready in the courtroom.
Did you hear the first speaker, not Mr. Williams, and swear to God the truth, I'm going to lie on God? Did you hear that?
I heard something to that nature. I heard the on God part. I really couldn't understand what he was saying after.
We'll do it one more time, and if you don't, we're just going to move on, okay?
Okay.
But that's it. Just the very beginning, if you don't mind.
So nigga, a lot of they mama, a lot of they kids, a lot of they brothers and sisters, then get ready in the courtroom and tell the God honest truth.
Did you hear that first speaker say something to the effect of, and swear to God the truth, I'm gonna lie on God?
I heard, I swear to God, and something about a lie. I didn't hear what you heard.
And when you take an oath and other people take an oath in a courtroom, is it tradition that we raise one hand, the right hand, and then we take an oath to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, to help you God?
Objection, no.
It goes to this video. All right. Do you know that when people testify in a courtroom, generally, they are sworn to tell the truth
Objection, no.
in relation to this video?
Yes, sir.
All right. And did you hear that speaker number one talk about, I'm gonna lie on God?
As I stated, I didn't hear the last portion of it. I heard him say swear to God and something about lying. I couldn't understand the last portion of what he said.
We're gonna do it one time and then we're gonna continue.
I've heard it 3 times, Mr. Steele. I don't understand what he's saying, the last portion.
Then Jeffrey Williams, and if you need to hear it, just let us know. He starts saying, so an N, I'm not gonna say the word, lie to their mama, lie to their kids, lie to their brothers and sisters, and get right in the courtroom and tell the God's honest truth. Is that fair to say, close enough?
Something to that effect, yes, sir.
So Mr. Williams is talking about people lying to their mothers, brothers, sisters, kids, right?
Your Honor, I object as to the speculation of a witness as to what Mr. Williams is saying.
I didn't ask for intent. Mr. Williams said, I'm not talking about intent. He said, he's talking about people lying, right? Or an N lying, right?
Your Honor,
That's-
I object and ask the video to speak for itself.
You heard on video that the jurors just heard Mr. Williams say 3 different times, people, the N lies. For their mothers, brothers, sisters, kids, right?
Your Honor, I object to the video speaks for itself.
All right. Did you hear Mr. Williams then say, and then gets right in the courtroom to tell the God's honest truth? You hear something like that?
Yes.
Now, did you hear a different speaker, or the same speaker, but not Mr. Williams, say, that's what I'm talking about?
I don't recall. If you want to play that portion again, I'll let you know if I heard that.
You can start from the beginning.
So nigga, a lot of they mama, a lot of they kids, a lot of they brothers and sisters, then get ready in the courtroom and tell the God honest truth.
Fuck, nigga.
Don't get it.
Y'all
Y'all niggas need to get fucking killed, bro.
Help you, God.
Did you hear that second speaker, not Mr. Williams, say, that's what I'm talking about? Did you hear that time?
No, I heard the F-N word. I didn't hear what you're saying.
All right. You heard a different speaker, not Mr. Williams, say FN.
It wasn't Mr. Williams, no.
Okay. And then don't know exactly your bro. Did you hear that?
I heard talking, but I didn't hear that.
And then did you hear another speaker, not Mr. Williams, say, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Did you hear that?
I heard God again. I don't think it was all of what you said.
Just do it one more time. Sure.
So nigga, a lot of they mama, a lot of they kids, a lot of they brothers and sisters, then get ready in the courtroom and tell the God honest truth.
Fuck, nigga.
Don't get it.
Y'all
Y'all niggas need to get fucking killed, bro.
Help you, God.
You snitching bitches?
From me and YSF.
Okay. Did you hear that? Nothing but the truth, so help you God, from someone not Mr. Williams?
Something to that effect, yes, sir.
All right. And then Mr. Williams said something like, don't get it, y'all ends need to be effing, I'm not saying the words, kill bro. Hear that?
Yes.
And then you snitching bitches, someone else said, not Mr. Williams. True?
I don't believe that was Mr. Williams.
And then Mr. Williams ends it with, from me and YS. And it cuts off.
I thought he said YSL, but if you say it cut off, okay.
Your Honor, I would object to the instance uncertain with respect to her testifying.
Now, from your investigation or your coworkers, what was being discussed during the time that Mr. Williams made that recording that's now memorialized in that exhibit?
This one here. I mean, at that time, we were seeing a lot of posts from both sides, putting up information about each other. So our main goal was to memorialize stuff, was to save it.
Tell the jury what. Did I cut you off? I apologize.
Go ahead.
Did I cut you off? I'm not sure.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Tell the jury what trial. Talking about lying on God, lying. I'm going to lie on God. Whatever you heard. You know, people lie to their kids, lie to their mother, all that.
Mm-hmm.
They write to a courtroom to tell the God's honest truth.
Mm-hmm.
What trial was going on around 2014, 15 that you knew about?
It was a lot of. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, sir.
There was a lot of cases going on in 2015. Are you speaking specifically for this date, January, or just 2015? It was, I want to say 32
32 what?
shootings.
Yeah, but who was testifying around January 26th when this RICO was done?
I'm not certain. This was very early on in the investigation, so I don't believe anyone was arrested for anything just yet.